Good evening and welcome to BAMFFL Breakdown. I'm your Commissioner, Michael DePiero. I'm joined tonight by Co-Commissioner and owner of the Long Dicks, Matt DePiero, owner of the Swarm, Jeff Gerard, and owner of Whip Like Butter, Vincent Pipolo.
I have permission.
This evening's show, sponsored by Bud Light. Tonight we'll be breaking down pretty much all the BAMFFL teams, franchises if you will. Jeff?
Alright, we're going to start off with the Dogs, since we're in the doghouse tonight. Desperation trade made this week. Went for Jason Campbell, gave up on Jay Cutler. Your thoughts?
It was a tough couple weeks for the Dogs. We had a few injuries, had a nightmare bye week. It was Jay's bye. So we decided to make the move and go with Jason. A proven winner in this league, last year's championship quarterback. He rocks the rings unlike Favre in this league. It was time to make the move.
You gave up a keeper linebacker named Patrick Willis, 50 tackles in his rookie season in 5 games. How do you feel about that?
I remind you of a keeper linebacker named D'Amico Ryans,
Who hasn't done shit this year?
who actually is climbing up about 8 points in the rankings every week.
Your thoughts?
No, I like the trade for Jason Campbell. Don't like the Cedric Benson trade.
Doesn't like the Cedric Benson trade. Cedric
Yeah,
Benson, friend,
keep
whatever,
the
was traded
running
from
back
Marvin
for-
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison, don't like him. You can find a receiver.
Did you hear about this?
You know that.
Marvin Harrison straight up for Cedric Benson.
What's your other running back?
Peterson and Jackson and Leonard.
Splits for you,
Vinny likes it. Vinny likes it. So we're going to move on that note. We're going to go to Whip Like Butter, also here with us tonight. Don McNabb and Brian Westbrook, for a Giants fan, a little rough to swallow. But, you know, it's not really working out for you this year so far.
Certainly is.
Your point-wise, yeah, point-wise. But
First place
McNabb
is
hasn't
first
looked as
place,
sharp
my
as
friend.
usual. First place?
I had to get through a bye week and an injury last week, and I almost won the game regardless.
All right, let me just take this time to say kudos on the Plaxico Burst pickup. I wanted the combo again this year. He's tearing it up as usual. I like to see that.
As long as one of them is.
How do you feel about just Johnny's losing late in the week?
I love
Late in the
it.
week.
Love it, Just Johnny's.
Did you hear about
was
this?
Selvin Young.
Did you hear how he lost it?
No.
It was a tie up
lost
until
half.
today.
It was a tie until today. Half a sack got taken
ESPN
away from him, and he
took
lost his
3
points.
points.
Took this
He
half
would have
sack
been tied
from
with
who?
you for first
From
place. From
Johnny's, so Melissa won.
So first place.
Good
right
job,
there,
Mel.
Whip Like Butter. Let's move on to the
You're in
Stallions.
trouble next week, though.
I remember Matt saying in the earlier interview that the Stallions would pick up a Derek Ward. We're going to look good.
Oh, I said it.
So far, their
I
record's
said
looking
He
it.
good.
called it
Yeah.
on this show 3 weeks ago.
Called it on the
He
show.
was right. He was
But I'll
right.
tell you what, other than the Derek Ward pickup, I'm not impressed. He has one of the lowest points totals in the league. I think he's had an easy schedule, and that's putting up
That is true.
his wins right now.
And
But,
now he's got
again,
just Johnny's with many buys.
And now Jacobs is back. Breeze still ain't doing anything.
Garbage.
But I will say,
Braylon is in the AFC North. Can't do that all year.
Derek Anderson, baby.
He can mark up another win this week.
he could walk
Got
around.
Johnny's
He got
without
Johnny's with a lot of bye
Travis
weeks. Johnny's
Henry.
with a lot of buys going this week.
And Manning.
And Manning
Yeah.
and Marshawn Lynch.
Yep. So he could sneak by with another one. You never know. He might sneak into the playoffs with a strength of schedule.
You only got 10 minutes to play, boy. Keep it
All right.
moving.
Moving on to the Bravehearts now. A lot of trade talks going on with the
A
Bravehearts.
lot of trades.
Gave up T.O. this week. Gave up a few other big plays. Gave up Kitna. Ends up with Favre and Jennings. How do you feel about T.O. for Jennings and giving up Kitna for Favre?
A whole lot of nothing.
I like it for our division. That's what I like.
Love it for our
It's
division.
a whole lot of nothing, in my opinion.
Well, he's happy. He got
First
Favre. I guess Favre to him is Jason Campbell to me.
I think Favre's great.
I think Favre was great too.
Favre's
I think him
having
and
a
Kitna put up the same
stellar
numbers
season.
though this year.
I think I don't have an ashtray.
I think you end up losing T.O. for nothing. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
same thing.
Yeah.
Quarterback, receiver.
Yeah.
Jennings been back for 3 games. Got a touchdown in all 3.
All right, I'm
What happens when Donald Trump gets back?
Don Jones been back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he
They
has.
do-
Yes, he has.
They do have James Jones too. Yeah,
Check the numbers.
Don
He's
Jones
been
been
playing.
back?
He's been playing.
Yeah.
He's played every game.
All right.
And they're
well,
playing the number 5 pass.
Let's move on to
defense.
probably the most underrated team in the league, the Swarm. Pulled off a big win this week with Michael Turner dropping 35 on the bench against the Diesels. And Nick Folk, a
Gotta love
50-yard kick to win the
This guy,
game.
you suck.
Nick Folk. Scott, this one's for you, baby. You can keep Fitzgerald. I don't need him. I got Nick Folk.
All right, let's stop with the talking shit about Scott for a second. Break down the Swarm.
Okay, let's break down the Swarm. Swarm had it rough. I'm not going to lie. They might
Let's face it. You got 35 points out of a backup,
That's true.
and you got 20 points out of a kicker.
That's
Very
true.
clutch, and it could spur you to great things.
But it's not looking good.
But it's not looking
It's not looking good. But then again, you have to consider the fact that 3 of my starters got injured before the middle of the first quarter on Sunday.
This is true, and you put up a good number. Nobody says you didn't deserve
It isn't
that.
like
You earned it.
he's in a strong division.
No, I'm not. I can sneak away with that division.
Heck, nobody wants it.
Going against guys like
Nobody
Jason
wants it.
Campbell, I can pull it.
When
Now-
Damon, Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. We can move on to the Long Dicks, who I think at the beginning of the draft probably had the strongest team in the league. Bulge is killing you, I gotta admit. And I'll be honest,
Second
Frank
round,
Gore looks like the keeper of the
disgusting.
year.
Fuck
I'm
Frank
not looking
Gore.
at it right now. No.
There's trade talks for Frank Gore
Frank Hoare.
and someone
Frank
else. I'm not supposed to say the other name.
There are trade
But-
talks?
Jason
Something
Campbell
might
will
be
not
going
be
on.
traded for Frank
Not
Gore.
him, not that schlepper.
You were in the car all night. Please,
Well,
please.
yeah,
I
alright.
got so young.
Yeah.
All right, let's move
About a
on.
real
Long
running back.
dicks.
Let's move
Hold
on.
on, I got a little something to say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The once highly touted quarterback situation in Long Dick Land has now turned into a poultry graveyard of has-beens.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks.
Bulger. Schaub is proving without Andre Johnson he's not a real quarterback. When Andre Johnson returns, we'll see what happens. But I'm just saying, one-on-one without a quarterback, it can't be too comfortable.
Let's keep it moving here. We got Babloskis, who normally is just a draft spot in the roster, usually takes up a couple good guys from people. He's showing some heart this year.
This year
Got
he's
Joseph
doing it.
Adai, probably the best keeper so far, in my opinion.
disagree.
Steve McNair's situation not really great. Kevin Jones not happy about
Hello,
that,
yes, Carson Palmer.
but he has Carson Palmer, and Carson Palmer's on a bye this week.
Last week.
But he's going to have it rough against Frank this week. I think Frank screwed himself by going with Favre for this week. He should have kept Kitna. But we'll see what
Got him
happens
this
with
week.
that. I think Babs makes the playoffs.
Eagles
I think he
got
makes it
him
pretty
this
easy too.
I think Babs will be
Even with Amon Green and Gibbles got him.
I think Babs has put himself in a really good spot here because he's in the South with Nick, who's 5-0 and most likely will win the division. It'll put him as the 5 seed against the worst division winner,
That's true.
most likely coming out of our division.
Coming out of the East. Looks
So
like
I
right
like
now
where
that'll be
Babs
Babs.
is right now. Let's remember that. I know it's only week
Too
5,
far ahead.
but we got to start thinking about this.
All right, let's move ahead before we only got a few minutes left here. Let's
That's
go to
also
Deep
strong
6.
every year.
I really don't want to waste a lot of time on Deep 6.
No.
Kurt Warner, now the starting quarterback. No more pretty Matt Leinart. Fred Taylor, Clinton Portis hurt every other week. Steve Smith with a terrible quarterback situation. Not looking good for the Deep 6 this year.
It's not looking good for a lot of teams in this league.
That's true. That's true.
She is
It's-
2-3. She's tied right up there with all
Sure.
of us, begging for that spot. And she got a win last week. I mean, on Thursday, but it's a win, I guess.
That's true. All right, let's move ahead. Let's forget about the Deep 6. Let's move on to one of our announcers' favorite teams, Hell's Kitchen, who just really isn't putting it up this year. I mean, T.J. Husmanzada, Sammy Morris has been a nice surprise for him, but LaDainian
So
Thompson
is-
at the number 1 pick, big upset there. Not that any of the top 3 running backs were good this year, but LaDainian Thompson is just not doing what he's supposed to do. Matt Hasselbeck, not looking good.
One thing about Kevin's team, and I know everybody's going to say I love Kevin.
Why trade the depth away at quarterback, Kevin? Why take Savaris Jackson?
But he does have the depth. That's what I'll give Kevin. That's why he's always in it, because he has the
Yeah,
depth.
but he
Who do you
gave
get?
away Brett Favre
Who do you have?
for Savaris Jackson. No?
Somebody else.
Yeah, he ended up with something else. I don't know exactly what he
No, I'm
ended up
saying
a
at quarterback.
receiver.
No
Oh, he ended up with Larry.
quarterback.
He pulled Larry
He's
Fitzgerald out of that trade.
Yeah, but no quarterback.
Larry Fitz and Husmanzada.
Got Hasselbeck, and Hasselbeck, he's probably expecting
Back
him
to
to
the playoff seeding thing. Right now, Kevin's at 8, which will put him up against Nick, who he owns,
That's true.
no matter what. Just
But,
like
I
I
mean-
own Jeff.
Moving on to the Flyers. 5-0. A little controversy here. Didn't even show up for the draft. Has a 5-0 team. Pretty much drafted by Mike, even though Little Phil will claim to drafted that team, even though he had a list in front of him, and you telling him which guys to pick off the list. Edgar and James, nice surprise for him. That was a nice pickup. He wanted him.
That was actually all Nick.
That
He
was
told
one.
me, get
And I know
the
he wanted Antonio Gates hard too, which has been probably I think one of the best pickups this year.
You don't want Gates.
You didn't want Gates?
It was
All right.
surprising.
That's my mistake. I was misinformed. I apologize. The Diesels are already done. They actually traded for a pick. They've used all their picks. They've got a second slot running back in Brandon Jackson, who's pretty much not
Yeah,
playing.
1 minute.
We have 1 minute left to go, so we're not even going to waste time on the Diesels. You're done. You lost to a kicker and a half a team this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
It's
Just
Johnny.
Johnny's big loss this week, claimed on Thursday. Lost to half a sack. I know he's not happy about that. He's
Jeff too much
2-3.
FaceTime. He talks
I'm
too
sorry.
much.
Really good.
He's good. I think me and him could do a show. together,
let's-
just us two.
Well, we don't got much coming out of this guy over here. But how do you feel about just Johnny? He's in your division. Actually, he could have been tied with you if he had that tie.
Cut it off at 9:50, Maria, please.
We're cutting off. We have a few teams left. We have me at 3. Actually, surprising people, 3 and 2.
I'm not surprised at me with Ronnie
No,
Brown.
no, Ronnie Brown, nice pickup for me at 3.
She
Very
easily
nice.
has the best 1-2 draft punch. Go.
Triple X, you took 2 kickers in like the 6th and 7th round. You don't deserve to be anywhere.
See you next year.
FSU Seminoles, I like the pickups of receivers early. It was ballsy, but it didn't work out for you.
Still ain't.
It's still not working out. Now you gave those receivers away. So,
Thank you.
that's all we have. Thank you very much.